Welcome back to MBKB Talks.
Now, obviously, you're making music as part of the Good Lies with Lauren Green. Now, how did that project come about? And yeah, sort of, how do you balance the creativity with your full job and also doing just doing your band really?
With great difficulty. The balance isn't something I'm particularly good at. I like to be like all in with everything. So, and in music, things take a lot longer than you think they're going to be. So, I first met Lauren back in 2016. Um, so she is like a fantastic singer and songwriter and a dancer. She does her own tribute shows as Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter, Beyonce. Like the list goes on, and she's like great in all of them. So definitely check her stuff out. So we met in 2016 in a writing session. So after E of E had kind of disbanded, I was on a website and it came up country artist looking for a guitarist to record, and I was like, that's straight up my street. Just emailed and spoke to the songwriter she was working with at that time. Met up in the studio, and we instantly like hit it off. We felt straight away that we were the music that we both liked. We're working on. So she would suggest something, then I go, okay, well, what about if we played this instead and did this, and it would just bouncing creatively off each other. So I worked under that project for a little bit. I think I did about 5 or 6 studio days there, and then as with the music industry, didn't hear back. So Lauren was off doing her own things, and this project kind of stopped. And then in 2017, she reached out. She was no longer working with that songwriter anymore. It was like, oh, would you be interested in working again? I was like, yeah, definitely. And she's like, okay, great. I don't play any instruments. I just sing and come up with melodies. Here's 2 songs that I've got. See what you can do. And she sent these songs over. And within about 3 days, I'd done both of them. Because instantly I was like, okay, I get it. I can hear what I need to do. So that's how we work really well together. She'll come up with some melody ideas and I'll be able to put the music to it, and vice versa as well. I can put some music over to some songs and a melody idea that I've got, send it to her. She improves it, and we've basically been working on that since. So the Good Lies came about officially in 2019. We booked some studio dates together from 2018 through 2018 onwards. And originally it was just to write together as a songwriting partnership and work on these songs that we got. But we realised that there was this common thread that they all kind of stuck together and sounded like a band. So yeah, we went for it in 2019, just after I'd finished uni and just about to start the teaching course. And then of course COVID happened, and then we had Grayson, and then Lauren had her son Luca. Then we got married, so it's kind of been like an on and off project for the last couple of years. And this year we've both like, no, we want to do this. We've got these songs that we think are really good, and getting some good feedback from family and friends. Like, let's just get them out. Even if nothing happens, I can go, that's the songs that I've made, and I'm like really proud of that. So the balance side of it is very difficult. As a school teacher, it was near impossible, because I'd be working 8 till 4, 8 till 8 sometimes at the school. Crazy hours, and then trying to do some music stuff on an evening while also trying to see my wife and kids. And then on the weekends be going away and doing gigs and stuff. With MBKB, with the flexibility, we could do that a bit more. So it's just trying to find that time where I can let that creative side out. Because if I don't do music, I start to just get like really irritated that I'm like, I feel like I'm wasting time, like I'm not doing it, like I've got all these ideas and the songs are just sat there, so I want to be doing something with them. So you've just got to work on when I go all in on it. So I go, okay, I've got a weekend, so coming up, for example, Saturday, I'm like, okay, I've got a couple of hours on Saturday, here's what I need to do, and I plan it in the week, do all my work stuff, and then go, right, this is what I'm working on the week and do it that way, and just kind of be strict with yourself, and not to dwell too much if it's not going right, because you're still working on it. It's all going to go in the right direction eventually.
You just give yourself time to scratch that creative itch every now and then.
Exactly, yeah. It's something I really need to do, and I find if I'm not doing that, like when I was at the school, I was teaching music but not creating any, and it not making me like depressed, but I was just a bit like, is that I've given up? It's like I used to because their students were always like, oh, you did this and that, and I talk about like the EV stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I did, and that just having that I did that, not I'm doing that. That was the bit that really got me. So I try and keep my studio. I've got a studio at home where I do work as well, office/studio, and I try and keep that ready to go. So when that moment comes, it's like I can just plug in and go, and then go for it. But otherwise, yeah, I just get very bored.
So, speaking of the good lies, you recently released Misery, which had radio airplay on Backcountry Music Show and the Backcountry Radio, and it's been featured on some great country and alternative playlists. What can we expect now?
So we've got some live video recordings that we're working on. So we're in the studio because we're so far apart as well, and so busy with everything else. When we do get together, we try and get loads of stuff done. So it's quite difficult for us to do a live show. So we're like, people are dying for us to see us live, so let's record one. Very live lounge style, that BBC Radio 1. So it's us live, but recorded professionally in a studio. So we're very excited for that to come out. We're looking at getting on some festivals next year. We've got loads of new music planned as well. There's 5 singles lined up to come out. So it's all about building that momentum that we've got with these plays and really pushing what the next kind of year is going to look like for us. So hopefully, let's say some country radio stuff. It's been fantastic so far, but getting on those festivals and potentially getting an album out. So yeah, stay tuned.
Any tours in the line, maybe?
That would be amazing. Yeah. So once we get the live stuff out and we can get some shows, then yeah, get on a tour. There's some amazing country artists in the UK, and then it seems to be getting bigger every year with more and more people coming over. So it's very exciting time.
I just want to see your Hyde Park at DTS, is it?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Looking at inclusions, misconceptions, and sort of real world support, do you think the wider world is doing enough to support autistic and neurodivergent people? And sort of what are the most common misconceptions you still hear about autism and stuff like that, do you reckon?
I think it's growing. Inclusivity is a big push with Ofsted, so schools and training providers are really looking at what they can do to be inclusive and create that inclusive environment. The support-wise, it's out there, but it's very difficult. From a personal side, it's really hard to get the support, and you're waiting on waiting lists. If you're an adult who suspects you've got autism, ADHD, or anything like that, you're talking 2 to 5 years in some cases just to get a diagnosis. And that doesn't mean you're going to get support. That's the worst thing about it. You can go through all this process and go, okay, I've got this diagnosis, and they go, yeah, there's the piece of paper with it. Good luck. And it's really hard. I don't want to bash on a government too much, but there's a lot more they could be doing. They've pulled the funding in local authorities for SEND stuff. They've made it harder to get EHCPs in schools, which is not helping anyone. It's not helping the kids and adults with and young adults, with their SEND needs, because they're not getting the support. It's not helping the schools because the schools can draw on the support based on what the needs are. And there's a lot more education that can be done. With the NHS waiting lists, getting those down is a real issue. Like Grayson, we've known since he was basically 18 months old that he has a form of autism. Doing the research that we've done, we think we know what it is, but we don't have a formal diagnosis yet. We've been on the formal diagnosis pathway for 2 years and have only had 1 phone call interview. So it's really hard, which is why I was I said earlier, those support groups on social media are really useful because they can point you in the right directions. Even if it's just a group of other parents you can speak to and vent to or bring together, it's really good. So I think the awareness is there, but the real world support is still lacking. Some companies are doing great things, and you can see that it's coming through. And I feel like in the training world, we're trying to be a leading force in that, and we're trying to do our best to bring everything together. In terms of kind of the misconceptions about autism, you get the stereotypical version. It's the same with anything. If you said, what does someone who lives in London look like? What does someone who lives in Manchester look like? You get that stereotypical image of that particular person. So if someone says autism, they think that it's the one, someone with headphones on, very antisocial, not making eye contact, maybe lashing out a little bit, difficult in conversation and stimming. But it's not. It's so varied in terms of what it looks like and what it is. And I think that's where the problem on social media comes with people saying, "Oh, there wasn't this much autism around when I was younger." It's not. It is there. It's just it's different for everyone, and there's different levels to it as well. It can be severe autism, which is very difficult, and unfortunately some of those adults end up in like care and things, and then up to like mild things where it's a lot more manageable at home. Like Grayson, for example, is somewhere like in the middle. There are some severe needs there. He doesn't speak, so his communication, his language skills are very difficult for him. He struggles with some sensory issues, but he loves loud music. So there's the juxtaposition of it as well. Like struggle with some sensory issues, would dislike those busy places, but he loves it. He loves going to like theme parks. He loves getting that extra input. So it's raising that awareness that everyone's different and everyone's got different needs. So it's not a one size fits all.
So of course, one of the terms that comes with autism is masking, and like how you're saying, there's the different level of the sensory needs, and it could be more severe, it could be, but obviously, like when people are masking autism, what does that mean, like for you?
It's really difficult to say. For me, it comes to a children's book, the Elmer the Elephant. I even remember that. Elephant's multicoloured, so she stands out from the group. And there's one part in the book where she's finding it really difficult, so she goes and rolls in mud, which covers her in mud, so she looks like everyone else. That's a perfect example of masking. So it's changing your behaviour to fit in. So very much. So with autism and neurodiversity, people want to fit in. People want to be in a group. As humans, we're social. We want to be together. Not all the time. We like our own space, but for students and kids and adults who can see that someone who is different gets excluded, they cover up their differences. So they try to fit in, and they may not like eye contact. They may find it difficult to be around someone, but they do that. They push themselves out their comfort zone. So they make eye contact. They find it really difficult, and then when they come back home, they're back to their normal self, and they completely like lose it, and it's different because they've been trying so hard all day to contain themselves. Then when they come home, it's crazy, and you find that a lot with parents. They say school, like, oh, they're great at school, they're really quiet, they just get on with their work, and then at home they're lashing out and they're stressed because they've just been bombarded with this like overload and basically performing all day. And then that leads into kind of like the burnout and the exhaustion side of it, because imagine you're a footballer and instead of playing 90 minutes, you've got to play like 3 hours straight. There's only so much you can do, and by the end of it you can be like, oh, I can't do that anymore. I've had enough. Like that's it. I've reached the limit, and that's the burnout thing for those learners with the difficult needs that I'm asking.
You find that like people, so they can do it sort of on purpose and also like without even realizing you're doing it as well.
100%. One of the things that is autistic people tend to do, or neurodiversity people tend to do, is mimic. So to fit into the group, they start to take up like the accent of the person they're hanging out with. They start to use some of their language, and it's really subtle things to start with. So they feel like they're part of the group, and they don't even know they're doing it. It could be something as simple as like, say from Yorkshire. Everyone, when I meet with like Lauren, it's a joke when I go, "You're right," and I do that like Yorkshire. That's probably a terrible Yorkshire accent. We go, "You're right, mate," and they'll do that stuff. But that's what they do. They pick that up, and they pick up those mannerisms and copy. So without even realizing, because they're thinking, "Oh, I want them to like me. I want them to fit in with this group," and then the other side, they're very aware that they're trying to keep it together.
It's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Definitely, yeah, and there's, do you know what? It makes me think. I've never done send tests, but like the masking thing where you say you've been at school all day or something, and then like sort of golden, and then they get home and it's like an unrelease. It's it's just interesting. It makes you think sometimes, like.
Or it's the other way around. They're really loud at school because it's too much for them, and then at home they're calm, and then you go, well, what's going on at school? Something's triggering that.
It's like a bottle of pop in it. Like, you shake it up throughout the day, it doesn't do anything, but you shake it up so much when you get home, and then it just goes explode.
Exactly, yeah. At some point it's going to explode, or like you say, you shake it up, and then when you finally open it, that's when the mess happens. So.
Wow, interesting. Then, what would you sort of say to someone who finds out their neurodivergent later in life, maybe, and maybe not doing an apprenticeship even?
We've had this conversation with a lot of our learners who come to us and say that it's their son or daughter that's now been diagnosed, and they're seeing the traits, and they've spoken to a professional, and they're like, yeah, I'm on that pathway. There is things you can do. I don't want to put anyone off going down the formal diagnosis route with the waiting lists. You can still wait on the NHS, or you can go private, and it's a bit quicker. It's expensive, but there is things you can do. Again, if you suspect anything, just reach out to these support groups. On the apprenticeship, we put in assessment from the Cognosist system. So that's a generic neuro test sort of thing. So it won't tell us, oh, you've got autism or ADHD or anything like that. It says, this is how you learn. This is your unique learning method. So learners who may think, oh, I've always struggled with words when they're written down, but if I've got a list, I'm okay. On Cognosys, you come back, yeah, you've got difficulties with reading and literacy, then it kind of matches up and gives them that image. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You just need support. And I firmly believe that no one should be left out or excluded because of the way they learn is different to anyone else. So reach out to your workplace. If you're on an apprenticeship, to that training provider, just say, look, I think I've got this. What can you point me in the right direction? And anyone who's with us at MBKB, we're more than happy to do that with. Same for our tutors as well. If they have a learner that suddenly identifies, then they go, hang on, I'm like this learner. They can also reach out to us as well.
I think like you said before, we're all neurodiverse. I think that's a fact, really. We've all got, different learning styles. I mean, like thinking back to school, I learned quite well in a classroom, but put me in an exam. I was terrible at exams. I couldn't, you know what I mean? I revised so much and, tried to remember everything, but I just about, did well. But, just to get, to pass basically, but in a classroom setting, that's fine. So it's interesting, really.
I think that's it. It's like a picture or a graph, and it's like you've got a fish, a monkey, a giraffe, and a cheetah, and loads of other animals, and they say, right, here's the race, everyone go, and you've got a fish in the bowl. It's like, well, that's not going to go to anyone. And then you go, well, let's put all them in the water. The fish is going to win. Let's say swing through the trees. The monkey's going to win. So that's what I think that neurodiversity is really. Everyone's got it. Yes, there are large groups of people that you can kind of put together and go, you're very similar and so on. But everyone needs their own path to really succeed.
Finding that environment where you absolutely thrive, and it might not be in that classroom setting, but it might be out, I don't know, like doing something outside or
exactly,
any sort of role as well. From your own experience, how can we build a world where people like Grayson grow up not just being supported but celebrated for who they are and their differences.
It's raising that awareness and getting the support in first, and I think there's going to be a huge change in the education world within the next 10 years. It very much needs to change to include everyone. They keep harping on about this word inclusion. No one can tell you what it actually looks like or what it actually means. It's very much still an individual thing. So it's not just going, oh yeah, that Grayson's got autism and whatever else he may have. It's like, okay, he's got autism. Like I said, back to the matching things. Doesn't do well in the classroom, loves to be outside, but you give him a puzzle, like a complex problem, he'll solve it for you in a second. And there's stories of loads of people finding out later on in life, and loads of very famous people that have got that that are neurodiverse, should I say, and then they like change the world. So there's definitely lots of reasons to celebrate being different. Being different is good, and having your own way of working is fine. That's how you work. Great. Let's celebrate that. Let's see your journey, and let's help with that.
That's cool.
So what does obviously, I know you say inclusion doesn't have like a set, it's a weird term. What does it look like sort of in the workplace, and what is it and what isn't it in the workplace? Do you know? Can you answer that? Is that
it's a very difficult one to answer. When you say included, it means the term that I think is like, let's say MBKB, there's 140 staff, give or take, at the moment. Let's go, right, we're going to do a 5-a-side team, everyone get together, we're all included, everyone's in the team, everyone's going to play football. Great. That doesn't work for everyone. Some people love sports, some people never played sports, and so on. So inclusion is including everybody in that sense, but being inclusive is recognising that there's differences there. In like the 100-metre race, everyone starts in the same position. It's more like 200 metres, 400 metres, everyone's got a different starting level. So that's inclusivity, to give everyone that same advantage. So we're not starting from the same position because they need a little bit extra time. And it's, so like the sports analogy, and people who are into sports will know that that's why it's staggered. So when you first look at it and go, well, they're cheating, they're ahead. It's like, we're not. It's because they need to be ahead because they're in a different lane. And that's, for me, what inclusivity is. Giving someone their own lane and the advantages to make them on the same level as everyone else.
So that everybody can hit their goal.
So everyone can hit their goal, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That does.
I like that one. Yeah, that's quite a good expression, that is. Now, let's just switch gears for a minute. So what do you love doing outside of work and sort of music?
So if I'm not doing music, not at work, it's that spending time with the kids. We like going away and taking them to soft plays and doing stuff. Like I said, Grayson, with all his difficulties, it sounds horrible to say difficulties, but all the challenges that come with him, he's really good in new environments, and we're very keen to push him out of his comfort zone. I'd love to think that the world is all sunshine and rainbows, but it's not. He's going to come across things in his later life that are going to be difficult for him. So the more we can expose him to now, the wider his comfort zone becomes. A lot of people with autism can be very routine based and very hard to stick to. So yeah, going away, whether that's abroad or even like in the UK, just get like a night away. We did Legoland recently, which is like fantastic. He did Alton Towers with his grandparents as well. So yeah, spending time with the kids. So his younger brother Jackson as well has also just started his nursery journey and be in school next year. So it's all a go. So anytime that I've got free, it's like Beck, yeah, being a dad, yeah. So Beck will say I'm boring because I just want to stay in all the time, but I feel like everything else I'm always on the go. So I just want to kind of be present with it all. I do like sports as well, like watching sports and playing football when I can. I've not done it for a long while now. I need to get my fitness back up, but yeah, if I could get that in as just a weekly thing, that'd be good.
Nice.
I was just having that quality time.
Yeah,
with the boys and Beck.
And that's it. Yeah, become a dad and be husband and be partner. And I feel like that I switch roles quite a lot. I'm tutor and SENDCo, then I'm dad, then I'm like husband, then I'm rock star, then I come back to being dad. So I try to keep it fair for everyone as much as I can do.
Well, we're still on lighter notes then, maybe a little bit random, but what is your go-to comfort food or perhaps drink?
Food-wise, pizza. Massive pizza fan. But again, this is where I think like maybe people go, "Well, pizza would be like." I'm just like cheese and tomato or margarita, but like it's really good like comfort food for me. So if I'm out or hungry, I'm like, yeah, pizza would be the go-to. Whether it's Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Express, Pizza Hut, like anywhere. I'm easy on you. And you can trust a pizza. Like, name someone who's ever had food poisoning off pizza.
Simple but
It's a
effective.
good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're out at a festival, like music festival, and you're going, "Oh, that burger van smells good," but I don't know if I can trust it because there's stories of like people getting really bad food poisoning, like pizza. If you burn it, you go, "Okay, well there you go."
Bit of dough, bit of cheese,
Yeah.
bit of sauce.
Yeah.
Bread, cheese, sauce. That's it. That's all you need. Anything can be a pizza with that combination. To be fair.
It's true, actually.
Agreed. If you could only listen to sort of one album for the rest of the year, what would it be?
As of right now, it'd probably be the new Sleep Token album, Even in Arcadia. So it came out a couple of months ago, and yeah, I've just been listening to it like on and off. I got into the band like 2 years ago. I really like their style of music. It's metal music. Like I'm lying to anyone if I say it's pop. Like it is very heavy, but there is moments of other things in there. So one of their songs that I recommend to anyone who's never heard of them before would be Caramel. So Caramel perfectly sums them up because it starts off very electronic and then suddenly there's a like Spanishy Latin beat in there, and then later on in the song it gets really heavy and there's like screaming and really heavy guitars. So that's like again a really good one to listen to. So yeah, that would be the one I'd listen to because I've listened to it probably 2 or 3 times. So and there's still things I'm hearing from listening to that. If that makes sense. There's other bits you go, well, that's a bit different. I didn't expect that change. Or,
Interesting.
I feel like I don't know if you're the same, but I end up listening to like the same song over and over again, and then each time it's slightly different. So then with an album, you kind of got to do the same thing and explore the songs differently.
Yeah, definitely. I think like as a musician, the album you put together, it's the combination of the story. So you need all like a pieces of a puzzle. You need everything together to see how it works. So it's really good just to listen to the album tracks, and some of my favourite songs off my favourite artists are album tracks that you just resonate with. There's something different about them. And you ask yourself, why was this never a single? But you play it to someone else and they go, it's all right.
Yeah. Nothing worse than that, to be fair.
As a musician sharing a song and go, what do you think? Yeah, it's good. I hate that. Never tell a musician it's good because immediately we go, oh, they hate it. Never play that again.
Right, this is one of my favourite questions to ask, but is there a question you wished we'd asked you today?
So it's a difficult one. One thing that I can ask you, what does EHCP stand for and what is it?
I don't know about you, Lauren, but I don't know what that is.
I mean, you've mentioned it, obviously loads of phrases, but I've never thought about what the actual letters stand for.
So it's Education Health Care Plan, or Health and Care Plan. So it is a legal document that encompasses all the support for a particular individual. So for Grayson, it talks about his likes and his dislikes, what he's like in school. It brings together different reports from people. So you have to go to like a panel to do it. So you need evidence for it. So we've had an educational psychologist complete form on Grayson saying what he likes and dislikes and what his learning is. So it has very specific outcomes for that particular individual, and every year it's reviewed. So they say for Grayson, for example, it's to encourage him in the classroom environment to reach out to other adults, work on his communication. Those are the big things, because it breaks down like communication, speech and language, health-wise as well, if there's any struggles there. So if you've got, if there's a learner out there or someone who's got a physical disability, that'll be listed in there as well. And then it says what the outcomes are going to be and how the school or college can measure that against them. So it's basically to say, here's everything you need to know about Grayson. Here's how you can help him. Here's what he needs to work on. And here's where you need to go by the end of a certain time.
It's like a plan for Grayson in those school settings.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, like, obviously with you saying the government are perhaps like trying to not roll them out as much.
Yeah.
That is very important to keep, to have really.
Yeah, it's a key document, yeah, because it holds everyone accountable. So if you've got a child if your child is struggling and you get them an EHCP, if there's things in there, let's say that they need to have a one-to-one, that Grayson's got that with his, we're very lucky with that because schools cannot provide that in some cases. So it says in there he needs to have a one-to-one with him during his lesson times. If that doesn't happen, then we can hold the school accountable and say, look, it says here you need to provide him with this. Why is that not happening? And the school can say they're underfunded. Was like, well, you need to go to local authority, get more money to enable that. So for the government to make it harder for people to get them is really like disheartening and sad, because there'll be people on there who really need that locked in place for them because they struggle.
So yeah, we are now entering our Empower Hour, which is our favourite way to close out each episode, as you are probably well aware by now.
Okay, so Dan, can you share a moment, a quote, or a person that has made you feel truly empowered?
Yeah, so I've thought really hard about this. I mentioned moments before that were really special, but I'm going to go with a quote. So I'm hoping no one said it on any of the other podcast episodes. But if they have, then that's fine, because it's one for me. And it's from Dr. Zeus, and it says, "Be who you are," because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So I think it encompasses that inclusivity thing. Like, the best thing you can be in the world is yourself, 100%. And it's something that I learned from Grayson. Like, he is 100% himself all the time, good or bad for everyone else. He does exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and it's his way or no way. And it would be amazing to be that all the way.
Being
All the way around.
authentically
Yeah, be 100% authentically yourself.
Grayson definitely is, for sure.
Exactly, yeah. And his little brother Jackson as well is exactly the same. Like, having the two of them, seeing the difference is incredible. So anyone who's got got kids with SEND needs, you'll know the difference of a kid with or without. But yeah, they're both 100% themselves and completely unique, and it's great to watch them both grow up.
Yeah, and you never change either.
Oh no, 100%.
Dan, it's been great having you on the podcast, listening to your incredible career journey so far, and how you advocate for Grayson and music, and just listen to your stories in general.
And also, we can't forget a huge shout out to Natalie as well, Dan's SENDCo teammate, and for the incredible work and support that she's doing throughout as well.
Thank you for having me, and definitely big shout out to Natalie for everything that she does, and she is fantastic.
And if today's conversation resonated with you, and if you have any questions, please get in touch. We will list down any of the support and resources that we obviously offer at MBKB, but also just things that we that you've mentioned that we can share with people watching as well. And if you'd like to explore our neurodivergent pathway at MBKB or follow Dan's music, please go follow The Good Lies.
Good plug.
Thank you.
Like that.
Definitely. And to all of our listeners, we've hoped you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, a big thank you to everyone who's tuning in. And we really appreciate you sort of joining us for another episode of MBKB Talks. Whether you're a tutor, apprentice, a parent or a professional, the episode is packed with practical insights and real life perspective. So make sure you check into our other episodes if you haven't already seen those, and subscribe to get our latest ones.
And then the episode following is going to be our first ever remote recording, which I'm excited to get started and give that a go. I think that's going to open it up And we're going to be able to interview so many more people then, aren't we? It's going to be exciting. But yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.